Morning, Roo. I'd love it if he actually said morning. Actually, to be fair, when I do come up, he does whinny, which is kind of like saying good morning, isn't it? Oh, you're so bargy with your nose. Should we call it loving, not bargy? You're very loving with your lack of personal space. So today, I've parked the car up here because I'm going to load it with all my Tack boots, leather stuff, because I'm going to do a major Tack clean. It is the middle of winter now and everything needs a bit of a clean, a bit of a waterproofing and a bit of TLC to make it through the last muddy, wet months. So we're going to load up the car and take it home to clean because it's cold and wet and damp and I want everything to dry nicely to be able to treat it. So let's get packing. That I love about Endurance Tack is, yes, you can clean it in the washing machine. So Endurance Tack is made of biothane, which is a webbing coated in plastic. As you can see, I love blue and white. So I've got all three bridles. Qantas's was hanging up in the tack room, so I thought I'd clean it and I can put it away in a box so it doesn't get dusty. So first things first, Qantas's bit needs to come off because it's got like raw hide over the nose. It's a combination bit. The other two bits can stay on. Yeah, I'm going to put bits in the washing machine as well. They come out so sparkly clean. If I had a, what are they called? A dishwasher, of course. I'd probably take them off and put them in the dishwasher. So what I do is I have these like animal hair washing zip bags and I put each individual bridle in. So first of all, I need to take off the high-vis bits that I've got attached to my breastplates so that they don't get wet and ruined, because I don't want the batteries, lights to get ruined. Look at it go! And then I just do up all of the bits and bobs and I run my reins through the throat lash so everything gets as non-tangled as possible. Is that even a word? I don't think that's a word, but okay. So, Rue's stuff can go in one bag. And I won't zip it up quite yet because I'm also going to put the gas in there in a sec. Right, now this is Qantas's. He's got like the soft biothane, so Tizzy and Rue have both got the kind of shinier, opaque, is that the word? I don't know. It's shinier, it's a little bit harder, and then Qantas has the more matte, softer biothane. So there's his. Let's get his bit off. Tizzy's is probably the dirtiest. Nothing ever comes up as dirty on camera. I always notice as well my skin looks way better on camera than it does in real life, which I'm not complaining about, but things that are super steep or super dirty just don't come up on camera. Okay, I'm going to put Tizzy's in like Qantas's and then the girths can go in Rue's. Okay, so I have, for my reactor panel saddles, I use the Steuben neoprene elasticated girths, and they can also go in the wash, which is wonderful. And then Tizzy has like a waffle girth. I actually need to get her a new one because the edges have like cracked and I don't want that to pinch her. So I've been putting wool on them at the moment to ride, but I think I need to purchase a new one. I mean, it's done well. It must be 10, 15 maybe years old. It's old. Okay, ready to go in the wash. Okay, so in the wash, my 2 bags. I put it on a 30 quick, like a quicker wash. So I'll put it on, let's go mixed fabrics. And then I make sure it's 30 and then I turn the spin down to as low as it goes. So this one does 600, and then I put it onto a quicker wash. So it'll be in there for 57 minutes. I'm also going to put my high vis in there as well. Give that a clean. Make sure there's nothing in the pockets, because I'm sure we've all been there before. Okay, let's go. So I've moved into the sunroomy bit, away from the washing machine that you can probably hear a little bit in the background. So while the washing machine is doing its thing, I'm going to clean my saddles, and I'm a little bit ashamed to say this is long overdue. So you can already see a little bit of mold happening there, and underneath there. I'll do a little close-up for you because you probably can't see it from that angle, but it's grim. Ew. First things first, I'm going to take off all the bits and bobs that are on it. So the little lights that I have for riding in the dark, they're literally just off Amazon. They're bike light silicon lights, and you can change the batteries, which I like. So yeah, we'll take those all off. We'll take the stirrups off. I keep all my tack cleaning stuff in this bag, and I'm a bit of a Car and Martin fan. Not sponsored, would love to be. I'm going to start with the tack cleaner. So I love the fact, so the reason that I'm such a Car and Martin fan is all their spray bottles are metal, all of their packaging is recyclable, and it's just always looks really nice, and it works really well. So I've got number 1. Then I've got step 2, use after the Belva tack cleaner, and this is the tack conditioner glycerin soap. And then I've got the leather balsam. I never know how to say that, and that's the conditioner for anything that really needs a good going into it. And then the final step, and I've got 2 things that do this. I've got the Chow line leather dressing, or the Granger's International leather care liquid G wax, and that is what I use once it's dry to weatherproof them. So I'll show you that as well. Okay, so that's Tizzy's saddle cleaned. This is quite old, so it's never going to look beautiful. It's quite worn. I did my first ever 160 in this saddle, so it's actually quite a sentimental saddle, really. As much as saddles can be sentimental. Can they be sentimental? Yes, they can. Saddles can be sentimental. I would probably never get rid of this one because I did my first 160 in it. But never say never, because I might need to make room for new saddles. But yeah, so it's quite special to me, and obviously it's very, very comfy. And it was made for Tizzy. So I was a junior when I did my first 160, so I needed, at the time I was using a saddle that was just this bit, it didn't have any flaps, because as a junior you don't need to be weighted, or you didn't then. They actually, very controversially and oddly, now do have to be weighted. So they made me a saddle that was a little bit heavier, but similar to that. So I didn't like having sides, I didn't like having knee rolls, so they just put nice thick straight flaps in for some added weight. And also these little tabs here, you can attach a little pouch that goes here that you could put lead weight in. So yeah, my first senior saddle. So step 1 of that done. It's nice and dried off now, cleaned with removes grease, dirt and sweat. Yeah, certainly looks better. So I'm now going to move on to the soap. saddles, they've been cleaned and conditioned. So this is my reactor panel saddle. I switched to reactor panel because Free and Easy don't manufacture any saddles anymore. These are really popular in endurance and other disciplines as well, so they're not just an endurance saddle. So comfy. So I bought this saddle second hand and had the reactor panel guys come out to fit it properly, and I really, really love them. They're super comfy. I've even been converted to a little bit more of knee support, though I have taken the block out because I'm still not quite used to having my knee like almost pushed into the position rather than me holding it there, but I'm sure I will get used to it, or I'll just keep it without the block in. So I've just taken a little rag and ran it all over wherever any stitching or grooves are to get all the conditioning soap in, so there's nothing like clogging up any of the stitches or anything. Both the saddles actually look like they don't need like an intense condition, but this saddle has been out in the rain quite a bit the last few months, so I am going to do like a waterproofing like leather dressing over them both, but I'm not going to use this time. This one is like feeds and nourishes, keeping leather soft and supple, excellent for new or fine leather, and I think actually we don't need to. On to waterproofing. I have had this little bottle for a long time, since I had that saddle, Tizzy's saddle. So it's the Granger's International Liquid G-Wax. I don't even know if you can buy this anymore. I'm going to Google it afterwards. So I've just had this in a jug of hot water to make it liquid. I think maybe I had it in there too long because it's very liquid. And then I have a cloth in a sealed bag. So this is like a Ziploc bag. The reason for this is this cloth was super clean. So I only ever put this on the saddles if they're clean or if they're wet. So this is completely impregnated with the wax, which means that if I go on a ride and the saddles get really wet, I give them a quick clean with the spray so there's no mud on them, and then instead of having to heat this up and treat it, I can literally wipe down with this cloth, and it will give it some of the wax and the waterproofing to protect it. So let us begin. We'll go for this corner, I think, 'cause this is the least waxy of the cloth. Open up. And then I literally just put it over the top, quickly do that, and then you've got some there. Smoosh it around. Get that out of my way because I will knock it over, and in we go. And I only do this on the top of the saddle because the rest, like underneath, doesn't get wet, and the girth straps, because sometimes they get wet because I'm like holding them, picking them up, and Tizzy's poke out from underneath. Although hers aren't leather, they're biophane, so it doesn't really matter. Saddles are done. Now onto my boots and chaps, and I think this is going to be the most satisfying because look at that. That is absolutely filthy. As are my chaps. I got new chaps for Christmas, so my competition chaps, these ones, are being demoted to everyday chaps, but actually they need to, my current everyday chaps need to go to the saddler because it needs some stitching doing, so I'm going to clean them before they go, obviously. So yeah, the same process as I did with my saddles, but I do a proper little scrubby brush to get all the dirt out first. Let's do this. That was definitely the most satisfying. Like, they are way cleaner. So now they're clean. I'm just going to wait for them to dry a little bit before I condition and waterproof them. Both my boots are looking a little bit cracked worse for wear, so I might treat myself to some new competition ones, and hope that if I reproof these, my everyday ones will stay fairly waterproof. So while the boots dry, we are going to tackle stirrups. Now, I got a Christmas present from my brother, a Sonic water bath cleaner, so I'm gonna go and grab it, and we're gonna see how well it cleans my stirrups. I don't know whether I should give them a scrub first or just put them in like this. Maybe we'll try two methods. So one, I'll put straight in, the other, I'll give it a scrub first and then put in. Stirrup number one. So this is the one that I haven't cleaned. I'm just gonna pop it in there. Oh, that's actually perfect. Hold on, let's do 5 minutes. Ready, go. It struggled a little bit to get the dirt off, the one that I'd not even scrubbed, so I gave them a little bit of a scrub midway through, and actually they've come out way cleaner than they would if I'd just done it myself. There's some of the cloth of the school in the pin there. So now I'm going to have a little go at the one that I scrubbed first and see if that makes a difference. Well, they're definitely cleaner than without the Sonic cleaner, but they're not as clean as I wanted them to be. There's still a little bit of mud and a little bit of kind of grass in the treads and things, so I'm gonna have to scrub them myself. Okay, last but not least, the washing machine is finished. I've taken my high vis out and I've sprayed it with the Nick Wax waterproofing thing while it's still damp, and they have gone to dry now. I'm gonna put them in the tumble dryer in a sec. So the last thing I do with my Biothane tack, see, I told you it gets super tangly, but hopefully it will all untangle really easily because we tied it all. Whoa! Look at that! Look at that! So the first thing I do is I have a little warm water bowl and a sponge here, and I just check over nice and methodically all of the tack. Anywhere that the washing machine didn't get, I'll give a little scrub, but this is mainly to check all the stitching just to make sure it's all fine. So with leather tack, obviously you'd be more hands-on as you clean, so you'd probably pick up if anything was wrong sooner than you would with Biothane. So look how clean and shiny it comes up. See how clean and shiny the bit goes in the wash as well? Lovely, right. So Rue's actually, I haven't bought him his very own tack yet. He's still using my spare kit, which is fine. Not every pony needs brand new tack, but the head collar piece is from a different brand. It's from a brand called Zilko, whereas everything else is from Pioneer Endurance. And the stitching has just gone like a bit dirty compared to my Pioneer stuff. So I definitely think I'm gonna maybe invest in the new headpiece for Rue. So that's how I clean up all of my endurance tack, ready for the second half of getting nice and muddy and wet in winter. And then in the spring I won't have to do such intensive cleans because there is less mud.